This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
And good morning, good afternoon, wherever the case may be, wherever you happen to be, you're here live with Dr. Jeff Werber, here the host for the next 30 minutes here on Pet Life Radio's Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff. We're here for you. We're here for your pets. We're here to talk anything you want to talk about pets. And that's what we do on our Sunday mornings, isn't it? And it's free. Advice is free. If you have any questions, if you have anything you need to talk about, now is the time to ask, now to call in. We have a very special guest here with us today. And I wanted to certainly introduce. So this is my good friend, and her name is Riley Keough. And Riley is not just any Riley, except for, of course, my granddaughter, who is also a Riley. But Riley has some interesting lineage. Riley happens to be the granddaughter of Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley. Priscilla, by the way, years and years, which was so funny when I met Riley for the first time. I said, oh, my God, I used to take care of Priscilla's dogs 25, 30 years ago. And it really, what a small world. And Riley is Lisa Marie's daughter. And Riley, welcome. And thanks for joining us here with your two great dogs.
Thanks for having us.
So let's introduce. So this is tucked under your right arm. It is Grubs. And Grubs is and there's Harley. So Harley, now, first of all, you have to see Grubs is a Frenchie. As we all know, I am a Frenchie nut. I have two. My son has one. And we're a big Frenchie loving family. Harley is very interesting. Let's first of all, before we talk about specifics about your dogs and your relationship with your dogs and you, of course, we all want to know about you, but tell me about Harley. She is really a unique dog.
So Harley, well, you should see her. Come here. She's honestly, she's so excited to be on the couch right now because she's never allowed on the couch. She's just running wild. But okay. Here she is.
Now, we should ask our viewers to try to guess. I mean, she is about the size of a Frenchie, but she really, if you look at that head and you look at her eyes, she is, as you were telling me, she is a full?
She's a full English bulldog.
Oh, my God. So, and her siblings, you said, her litter mates are totally English.
They're totally English. They're full size. They look like, normal English bulldogs. And she's actually a bit smaller than Grubs, my Frenchie.
Yeah.
But she's just a bit. Yeah, she's got, her paws are big. She's a bit special.
Uh-huh. So she is, and she's absolutely adorable. But, as we all know, and I know because I deal with this a lot with my own Frenchies and with my patients, they are noisy breathers. There's no way around it. They make a lot of noise. Harley is unique as Harley's breathing is worse than any Frenchie I've ever heard. Exactly. And I think but what they did is they took in her dwarfism, she is like a full-size English that is smushed down. So everything about her is normal size except her body. So it's like stuffed in. And look at that head. It looks like her brain.
Her head's big and her paws are quite big too.
Right. But she's got that funny gait. But I'm telling you, I honestly never thought that she would be around as long as she did. We had some doubts early on whether or not she would make it, whether we'd have to put her to sleep. And look at her now. It's just amazing.
It's amazing.
So sweet. So sweet.
Thank you.
So anyway, as we're talking, we have some guest listeners that have joined us. So, Mark, I don't have names, but the guy sitting in, you see in the corner with the black hat on. Talk to us. What's your name? Hi.
How's it going? I'm Anthony Ray.
So you have any specific questions you want to ask Riley? Because I have a bunch of questions, but you know what? I'm hoping that many of you will have the questions that when I was going to ask that question. So go for it.
Hopefully I don't steal any of your questions away. Riley, first of all, it's like an absolute honor to meet you. I've been a fan of yours for quite a while. The first movie I saw you in was The Runaways, and you were so cool in that movie. You were like one of my favorite characters. My question, I wanted to ask you, when you're acting, do you find it harder to portray somebody who was actually there like you did in The Runaways as opposed to just a character that was like written that's off the cusp like Mad Max, like that kind of stuff? Like, do you find it a little harder to get into character when the person actually exists?
Yeah. Well, I find it more stressful because I have to, make the person, especially if the person's alive. The two people that I played were alive and, on set. So you feel a pressure to make them happy and, and you kind of have to stick to like the sort of, it's stressful. It's more stressful playing somebody that's real. Because when it's not real, you can just make up everything, So,
Let me just chime in real fast. So you said they're kind of watching the filming. Do they ever would stand up and say, "Wait a second, that's not how I would have said it," or "That's not me"? And do they how do directors react to that when the real person is there who knows more than the director about them? You know what I mean?
I mean, the 2 projects that I've worked on, the directors were very respectful of the real people and wanted to know, if the real person wasn't happy with something or had a different opinion on how something would have gone down, or then the director would change it. And actually both times they were kind of involved in the script writing and all of that kind of thing. So it's not so much that they would tell me don't do that. It's not mannerisms and stuff, but it's more like reactions to things and emotional states and that kind of thing. But luckily with both of the projects that I did where I played real people, I got to talk to the people for a long time before. And so I kind of knew what was going on before I got into it, as opposed to being there in the middle of the scene.
That's great. If anyone else, any listeners out there want to join us and talk live to Riley Keough, you can join us. Just go on to Pet Life Radio. You can either, we'll just go to the box. If you go to Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff under shows, and there's a big box kind of encircled in red, and it says join us here just by clicking this link. So you can click and join us here live at Pet Life Radio. Talk to Riley. Any other questions before we move on?
Grubs.
Oh, there's Grubs. Grubs is great. Absolutely great. All right. So next up, we have, I see another a couple waiting. Any other questions before we let you go, or you want to stay on? Please stay on in case anything else comes to mind that you want to talk about or ask Riley. Just chime on in. This is not a one-on-one. This is a million on a million. We're like in a big room, and we're all talking to each other, and you just kind of break in. We like that too. Who's there? I see another group. A couple. Hi. Your mic, it looks like it's turned off. Is that on or off? All right. While you guys are figuring that out, Riley, I had some questions for you.
Yes.
So growing up, now you never got to know Elvis, correct?
Correct.
So what was it like growing up with such a famous, world-renowned grandfather, and then you never even had the pleasure to meet?
The thing is it was normal to me because it was all that I kind of knew. I didn't realize it was a weird thing until I was older and people started being oh, is that weird? Because I didn't know any different, so I was used to it, and I was used to it being a big deal, and I was used to people asking about it from, a young age, very little in school, that kind of thing. So I didn't really know what it was like to not be in that situation, honestly.
Did you grow up here in LA? Did you grow up here?
I grew up in LA.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how close you get to see Priscilla often?
I do. She travels a lot, and I travel a lot. It's not as often I would like, but we do get to see each other at least once a month.
Uh-huh. Well, you have to please give her my regards. It's so funny going way, way, way back. And how about now? Your mom lives here as well, right?
Yeah, my mom lives here. My dad lives here. My sisters, my brother, my grandmother. Everybody lives here.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Now, I know your mom is a pet lover. Did you grow up with? Did you grow up with pets as well, or is this something as an adult you started becoming a pet lover?
No, I grew up with pets. We had when I was young, we had a lot of property. We had a few acres and a lot of yards. So we always had at least 5 dogs, and we had a lot of English bulldogs. So
did you? Okay.
We had English bulldogs, and my mom had a Pomeranian that she was obsessed with, and we had a mini poodle at one point. We had all kinds of dogs, but the bulldogs was a consistent thing growing up. So we always had English bulldogs, and I think that's where my love for bulldogs probably started.
Right. Well, yeah, they're amazing dogs. My son, who has the Frenchie, also has an English. So, Mo. His name is Mo. He spends a lot of time here at the house because they only live 4 blocks away from us. So, I don't know.
I love bulldogs so much. It's crazy.
Oh, no. Mo. Listen to this. Mo is a rescue that supposedly was 9 when they rescued. And my son thought, you know what? He wanted a playmate for his Frenchie. And why not just bring another dog home and save a life? Yeah. Well, it turns out that was over 3 years ago, and there's no way he's 12 now. So he must have been way younger. So yeah, so he's.
How can you tell how old dogs are?
No, not at all. So again, it helps a lot. The 2 things we look at most are eyes and teeth in the mouth. When you look at eyes, if you look into a regular dog's pupil, all right, that it's black. The pupil is usually black. When they hit usually around 7-ish, depending on the dog and individual, but around at 7, you start seeing a little haziness. That's called lenticular sclerosis. And you can start seeing, it's almost like a white haze instead of a black pupil. And that usually advances with age. If a dog were to live, like technically it's called a pre-cataracted state, which means if that same dog lived to 30, it would probably end up as a cataract at some point. But, as we know, dogs don't live to 30. So, but it's a common way. The second way is the teeth and the gums. You look at wear, you look at how much tartar, you look at the gum disease, and all that, can give us an idea as well. And of course, in dogs that gray, like my old Labrador, who lived to 16 and a half, which is unbelievable. Oh, by the time he was like 11 or 12, he started getting gray. I had way more gray than I have. So anyway, and so those are the different ways we can check it out and see.
What is a life, like another maybe dumb question, but what is the life expectancy of what is the longest dogs can live? Well,
I just had to put a dog to sleep. What was interesting, it was it wasn't a large breed, but it was a full medium breed. He was an Aussie cross, 20. Oh my God. So rare. It's unbelievable. And then I am taking care of a little Chihuahua now, and she comes in. I see her very often. It's the owner is a woman, but the dog is a male. Name is Prince, and he is now over 20.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's really rare. It's like, my old Frenchie now is approaching 14. And if
he's 14?
Almost. He's 13. I know, it's amazing, right? And if you look at Frenchies, they say 12 to 14. I mean, so it's like at some point, look, we know he's not in great shape. But I delivered him C-section almost 14 years ago.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And, so I was the first human hands to touch him. And sadly, I'll probably be the last human hands to touch him. But he's, look, you got to look at when you have these dogs that get really old, you kind of have to look at the good side that, yes, it's sad. It's never going to be easy, but they are, that's the joy they bring us. And the best gift we can give to them is not have them suffer at the end. We just have to look at the good sides. Oh, we see our couple is back. Hey, guys.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. There you are.
Sorry about that.
Oh, good. So anyway, talk to us. And if you have any questions for Riley, you got her right here in front of you.
Oh, thanks. Well, we have a couple, but this is my wife, Debbie. And, my name is Rudy Riley. Thank you. We're big fans. But as always, ladies first. So we're going to let her go first.
Yes, as always, ladies first. Hi, Riley. I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm a very big fan of not only you, but your entire family. So I have a ton of questions, but I'm going to keep it to 2. The first one is just, if you have a favorite grandpa song, I'm curious what that would be of yours.
Oh, wow. That's a really hard question.
Sorry.
I really like How Great Thou Art, and I really like Suspicious Minds.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I think, my favorite.
Yeah. So those are probably my two of my favorites. Yeah.
Beautiful songs.
Are you able to sing like your grandpa?
Not at all. I wouldn't say not at all. I'm not like completely tone deaf, but definitely not comparable in any way.
Oh, I see. And then my second question is kind of a more simple question. Curious what color your new fall pocketbook is.
Oh.
You seem like a fashionista.
What color is it? I think it's tan.
Tan? That's a great color for the fall, yeah. Okay,
awesome.
Your turn.
Thanks, Riley. Okay,
thank you.
Thanks again for having us. And needless to say, Grandpa, pretty awesome guy. But my question was, we read a story about Grubbs where he was supposed to be the ring bearer or something at the rehearsal, and apparently he was acting up and he was stripped of his duties. So out of curiosity, what was he actually doing?
So he is not, he doesn't listen to anybody. I don't know whose fault that is, but we wanted him to walk down the aisle, right? Is that what we wanted him to do? Walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
We wanted him to walk down the aisle with the rings. We were thinking maybe that we would tie like a little pillow to his back and have him walk down the aisle and bring the rings down the aisle. And so we did like a little rehearsal with him. And we like started, and honestly, there was only like 2 ways to go. Like one way was down the aisle, and the other way was out of the venue. So, and I was like, okay, so we like held him, and we're like, okay, like go down the aisle, like walk to the other side. and he just like sat there, and then he started running the other way and like going in between the chairs, and like we're like, oh god. So we tried a few times, and he really it wasn't his strong suit, you know. So we were like, okay, we're not gonna be able to do this because, you know, we could have had someone walk him down with a leash, I think, but it's not as impressive. So he just stayed in the hotel room.
As we all know, dogs do what they want to do, not necessarily what we want them to do. Anyway, don't go away. We have to take our quick break. When we come back, we have more of Riley Keough. Stick by. If you have another question, you can certainly ask it then. So join us in a few minutes when we get back from these short messages. Once again, if you want to reach us, you can 877-385-8882. But better yet, join us here live, Google Hangouts on Pet Life Radio. Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff under shows and click on and join us here live. We'll be back after these short messages.
We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms. And our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
And welcome back. You're here live with Dr. Jeff Werber and our very special guest, Riley Keough, with Grubs sitting on her lap right now. One of an adorable, amazing Frenchie. So, Riley, new things on the horizon. I see you're doing a lot of stuff. In fact, real quick, so you have a brother, Ben. You have a husband, Ben. How did you and Ben meet?
We met doing Mad Max. He was a stuntman on the movie. We met while we were filming, but we didn't start dating until a year later when we reshoots in Australia.
Okay.
And I went to Australia to do the reshoots, and I decided that I wanted to stay in Australia for a while because I didn't think I was ever going to go back there. Well, little did I know. And so I was like, you know, I'll stay here for a few months and explore the country because I'll never be back here again. And so I stayed. He's laughing. So I stayed, and I saw him, and I knew him, but I didn't know him very well. And I got his number because I was just trying to find people to hang out with, and I didn't know anybody. I had like 2 of my friends there, but I was trying to find more things to do. And I talked to him on set, and he was like, "Oh, maybe I can teach you to surf while you're here." And I was like, "Okay, cool, that sounds good." And so we started hanging out and going to the beach and just like going around Sydney. And yeah, I really wasn't expecting to get into a relationship while I was there. So it was kind of, you know, a surprise, but we really just got along, and I wanted to hang out with him every day while I was there. And then after that, we kind of just never separated. Like, we were hanging out every day. And by the end of my trip in Australia, we were kind of sort of dating. And then I told him to, and then he came to visit my family for Christmas. And then he kind of moved to LA after that. It was great.
Oh, no, I'm sure you like to twist his arm to have him move to LA.
Yeah. He was happy.
So tell me, what's next on the horizon for Riley Keough as far as projects? What do you got? What are you working on?
I've got a production company, so we're doing a lot of films right now that we're sort of in development on. And I think that we'll be ready to shoot our first film next year, or maybe 2 of them actually, which is really exciting. And then as far as acting goes, I'm about to do a film with this woman, this incredible female director named Janixa Bravo. I start that next week, actually. So I'll be doing that until mid-December.
Great. And when you shoot now, you say that it could be out next mid-December, so a year from now?
Yeah, I would say that usually it's about a year later.
A year later.
Yeah.
Great. Good. And now when you have your own production company, are you going to try to have yourself as one of the actors in the films that you produce?
Interesting question. Sometimes. It depends. I'm trying to not sort of exclusively only do things for me. I want to do things for myself because, the cool thing about it is you can find your own films and things like that. Ben's feeding grubs, so I'm really excited to eat. So you can make up, you can find whatever story you want, really, and make up. And, make your own films. So that's really exciting. But I also am really interested in giving sort of other people opportunities and supporting younger filmmakers and other people's stories that I think are interesting that needs to be told. So that's something I'm really excited about. So there are some projects we're doing that I'm in, and there's some projects we're doing that I'm not in, and all of them are good.
I would hope so. I can imagine. Before we start asking a little more questions about your pets, any other questions from our guests? Guys, raise your hands because I can't hear you. I can see you. Go ahead. Good. Hold on. Let me click on you. Sure. Go ahead. What do you got?
Okay. I have one more, Riley, and it's a quick one. Did you inherit Grandpa's love for peanut butter and banana sandwiches?
I definitely did.
You did?
For sure. But, I don't know anybody who doesn't like that.
Right.
But I feel like I don't know. I don't know anyone that doesn't like peanut butter. But I like peanut butter, banana, and honey.
That's
Delicious.
You have one more, Debbie?
Yeah. Curious, did you just start acting as well as you do, or did you take acting lessons, or how did you become such a wonderful actress?
Thank you. I did do lessons. I did a little bit of theater classes when I was a teenager and younger, even younger than that, 12, 13 kind of. And then when I was older, maybe 17, 18-ish, I did more serious classes in LA. But it wasn't I didn't have any serious training. I had a little bit. And I think, honestly, the best practice for me is, filming things and filming movies and learning new things. And I do have people I work with now on different projects. I'll find different people that sort of, depending on what the role is. So, yeah, I did a little bit. But nothing crazy, I didn't go to Juilliard or anything.
So then you always knew you wanted to be an actress?
Yeah, I actually wanted to be a director when I was really young. And I would make home videos and make horror movies with my friends. And I wasn't in them, I just directed them. I didn't want to be in them. But I think that in hindsight, I was just shy. And I really did want to be acting in them, but I was nervous. So I was just always saying, I want to direct, I don't want to be in movies. And I think that I just got more confident as I got older and decided to try it.
I have a question about it because I was thinking about that. I was going to ask, that's a great question. I was going to ask as well about, was this something you wanted to do ever since you were little? And I always wonder, you went to high school here? Which high school?
I actually homeschooled.
You did homeschool. Because I was going to wonder, when you have a celebrity, and they become something that they maybe didn't even talk about when they were in high school, and they go back for a reunion. Did they even go to the reunions? And it's like with me, I want to be a veteran since I was 5. So there was no surprise to anybody that I'd be a veterinarian because that's all I ever talked about. So when you come back and you have a certain celebrity status, and back in high school, you were just in high school, you know. What would it be like for your friends? Or would you even go back to a reunion at this point?
For sure I would. What's funny is that I know I'm still friends with a lot of the people that I was friends with in school. So most of my friends have stayed my friends through school until now. So they've kind of been with me through my career and all that stuff. So I think that the great thing about having friends for a long time like that from when you're a kid is that they're genuinely they're proud of you, but they're not impressed, They're just
right.
So they're just oh yeah, cool, whatever, I don't care, which is a really nice thing to have.
Right.
Because sometimes when you make friends once you're successful, I think that you kind of maybe question are people hanging out with me because I'm a successful person, or but then I think that the fact that I do have friends from my childhood and from school and that kind of thing is something that's very valuable and special to me.
Right. Yeah. That's great. And any more? Are you guys going to stay with 2 dogs, or are you going to think they're or any cats? If
it was my choice, actually, both of our choices, we love dogs. We have 100. Harley is a lot of work.
Yeah, I know.
She's not easy, but in a funny way, she's easier than Grubs in terms of, like, she's good. Like, she's well-behaved. She listens. If we want to come inside, she'll come inside. With Grubs, we have to go, like, pick him up, and he never listens. Like, he just is on his own wavelength. Like, doesn't want any sort of authority in his life. He's like a teenager. But so she's really good, and she's, like right now, she's sitting by her dog bowl just waiting to eat. And she'll just sit there, like, and just wait pleasantly. And Grubs is just a bit of a nightmare, but she's really hard in terms of, like, other things which like her health. There's always something, like, a couple days ago, and she's having a hard time keeping food down. And
Right.
Stressful. If there was, we definitely want more dogs, like, for sure. But I think right now with Harley, we're trying to get her to a place to figure out. She's kind of our priority right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So anyway, if there's anything, last questions, we are out of time. At least Mark is going to, yell at me for going over our allotted time here. But anyway, I just want to thank Riley. Riley, thanks for joining us. You are welcome back anytime, especially after you get some of these projects. Just kind of let us know what's going on. And thanks to our listeners for joining us here live on Pet Life Radio, having an opportunity to talk to Riley. And we will be here next week. I'm going to try to do this. I have quite a few clients that I think you'd be very interested to meet out there. And we will let you know in advance so you can sort of plan accordingly to be available on our Sunday mornings at 9 out here in the West, noon out in the East. And if you Riley, what is your Instagram? I'm sure people are going to want to know that.
It's at Riley Keough. My name is RILEYKEOUGH.
Okay, at Riley Keough. Mine is at Dr. Jeff Werber. We'd love to have you follow us. And anyway, and if you ever want to get a hold of, if there's any specific thing that you could not join us here live and wanted to ask, if you can always get a hold of me here at Dr. Jeff, Jeff at PetLifeRadio.com. I will pass it on to Riley. And otherwise, we will see you here next week, same time on Pet Life Radio. Once again, thanks for joining us. And Riley, thanks for being my guest. And thanks, say hi to Ben. And thank you. And also, of course, Riley and Grubs. Harley and Grubs. All right. Have a good week, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Let's Talk Pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.